Hey guys, this is Phantom again, and today I'm going to show you the figure 8, which is a prerequisite for the Infinity, which is a prerequisite for the Infinity Extended, which is a prerequisite for Infinity Double and Infinity Double Extended. You get the picture. You need figure 8 for Infinity, Infinity for Extended, Extended for Double, all that shit. Anyway, first, figure 8. This is all this is. It's not really much of a trick. You're kind of just spinning your pen. Basically, all you're doing is you're throwing it down, and you're bringing it back up to here. That's one figure 8. But what causes it, most people do it as this, because it's continuous and it's entertaining. The way to do this is, it's pretty simple. You just toss it down at an angle like this. At least this is how I do it. So it makes a circular motion. But you need to make sure you turn your hand so it can continue flowing like that. Because if you don't turn your hand, it's just going to stop. It's going to try and force against your finger, and that's not going to work. So you just make it turn, and it goes back up. This is important because you use this for all the Infinity stuff, this downward spiral thing. Alright, so now that you've got the figure 8, we can do the Infinity. Infinity is this. Sorry. It's pretty simple, pretty basic. It looks a lot like the figure 8 because you're not really doing much else. All I do is I do the circle, except for instead of turning your hand, you catch it with your index and middle finger, let it slide through. Catch it again, toss it, catch it, slide through. Catch, throw, catch, slide through. And that is the Infinity. The more force you throw on the downward spiral, the easier it is to do it, because if you don't do enough, it'll be hard to control the pen as it goes through. But if you do too much, of course it'll fly out of your hand. So you can just eventually, when you get good enough, you can just do it without barely moving your hand. Next is the Infinity Extended, which is the same thing as the Infinity, except for you add an end of the pen charge. You do not need to exactly know how to do this. It sort of helps, but it's not necessary. You start out doing what you would do for the Infinity, except for instead of letting it slide through, you turn your hand so it gets stopped on your index finger. You do the motion, or you can do one of two things. You can either do a charge motion with your fingers, or you can just turn your entire hand. And then after you get that circle going, then it goes through. That's why it's called Extended, because it still does the same thing, it just adds another motion. So the easiest way to get this is to do it in steps. You do the downward, which you already know. You stop it, do the circular motion, let it slide through. This makes it easier because it'll get your hand to feel for the thing, and eventually you'll be able to make it real fluent and nice looking. And then this, I think, looks very cool, and I like to do this one a lot. Next would be the Infinity, the Double Infinity. And then the Double Infinity Extended. The Double Infinity just does two infinities at the same time, sort of. And then after you do the two infinities, you bring it on top of your hand and bring it back to the starting position by carrying it from finger to finger. This is actually quite a bit harder than the Infinity, because you need to continue the circle around to your next finger. This is actually probably the toughest part because you have to kind of bring your index finger around with it so it doesn't get trapped like that. You have to bring your finger around like that so it carries the pen and continues the circular motion. And then you would turn your hand like I showed you with the Infinity Extended. Infinity Extended, and then you bring it back to your hand by kind of just tossing it under like that. Basically, you're doing 2 Infinity Extendeds to bring it back, just switching fingers. That's about as much as I can explain for that. It's kind of something you just learn after doing a lot of Extendeds and regular. And the next is the Infinity Extended, which is basically the same thing, except for instead of tossing it down, you do an Infinity Extended at each stop. So you do one here. You do an Infinity Extended, and you bring it down. At each stop, you do an Infinity Extended, and then you bring it back the same way. The way to do this is you do the extended, but instead of letting it flow through this way, you try and turn your hand so the circular motion goes this way. So it goes like this, around, and then it goes back under there. So you can continue it like that, underneath, and then you just bring it back the same way with the 2 extendeds. I cannot do the triples because my pinky sucks. But yeah, that's about all you need to know. Again, using the AVR grip. I have a tutorial out to make it if you didn't already watch it. This is Phantom. I'm out.